Okay, so as you can see, the lecture for today is already displayed on the screen. Before we start, I would like to ask everyone, who among you is scared of failure? You can raise your hands because I am scared of failure too. Yes, we all have that fear of failure. Why? Because failure disappoints us. Failure discourages us. Failure even stops us from achieving our dreams. But there's something significant about failure that you have to take note of. When we talk about failure, it is actually an avenue for you to step up and to change 360 degrees. Okay? Failure is actually your avenue to change things. Okay? Hindi tayo dapat nagpapa-discourage sa failure. Instead, we have to use failure as a stepping stone closer to the next step, closer to the next level, because we're all here right now because we're dreaming of a better life. We're dreaming of a better future, greener pastures, as they call it. However, today, I will be pointing out the common mistakes that you can undergo in speaking, especially in the interview. Some of you here I have already interviewed. Some cases, you're not improving your score. You're not getting better. It feels like I am stagnant. But the reason why you're stagnant is because you don't take it to yourself to realize, where am I weak? Okay? Because the reason why we're having your coaching sessions is because we want to point out your weaknesses, because when you realize and recognize what your weak points are, that's when you know which areas to improve and which areas to strengthen. Do you get my point? That's why it's very important to talk about mistakes. I know it's not easy. It's not easy telling you the truth that, oh no, I feel like your pronunciation is really bad. Your sentence structure is not understandable. There are too many fillers. There are too many unnecessary hand gestures or unnecessary body movements, which may contribute to failing in the interview. Hindi maganda sa feeling, okay? I know it's not something that you would like to hear, but do you know the truth is something that you need to hear? And their noise is not something that we should hear. Okay, let me just mute these people. Okay. All right. Please mute your microphones, everyone on Skype. So that's why don't be discouraged if our topic today is your mistakes. Because failures, weaknesses, your mistakes are actually a way for you to realize what areas you need to improve on. Okay? Because every individual in this room has different strengths, has different weaknesses, but you have a common goal. And the common goal is to pass the interview, pass your IELTS examination, right? It's a process, but we all have to undergo a process because instant success is always taken for granted. And as you know, easy come, easy go. So when you undergo a process, it's actually, there's something beautiful about undergoing a process because it establishes resilience. You understand what resilience means? It means even though you're undergoing really bad situation, even though you're getting hurt, even though you're failing multiple times, but if you have a resilient attitude, it means you can step up, bawi ka agad. Okay? Hindi para focus on your weaknesses. Okay? I know some people, they tend to easily get discouraged. But the point here is for you to be able to improve, get back up, okay? So hopefully tomorrow in our coaching session, I will be seeing a lot of improvements from you since I think I was gone for 2 weeks. Last week I was not here, so this is like the second week. And ang tagal ng kitang hindi na coaching. Lisa. Am I right? Luisa, right? Okay. So hopefully that short motivation could help you change your perception or your perspective when it comes to pointing out your mistakes. Okay? Because I'm not here to belittle you or to say bad things to you, to discourage you, but we're here to actually empower you because there is empowerment in truth. Okay? Parang Bible study na to, all right. And I would like to introduce a new rule. When it comes to my classes, during my lectures, when you step into this room, I want everyone to speak in English. Even when you're talking to the person beside you. It's EOP, English Only Policy. Oh, o di mananahimik na kayong lahat ngayon. Alright, so when it comes to Sir Kevin's class, I don't care what you do. But in my class, the moment you step into that door, into this room, definitely it's EOP. Alright? Anyone who violates the rules will be kicked out of. No, I'm just kidding. You will not be kicked out of the room. Of course, it's not, we're not elementary students here, okay? But what I mean is, I want you to establish an attitude of thinking in English. All right? Because it's so unfair that I'm standing in front of every one of you speaking in English, and then I'm hearing you murmuring in Filipino. Okay? It's so unfair because he doesn't understand you when you speak Filipino. He can only understand, Akash can only understand English. All right? Bakit ka nakaibigan ganyan? Okay, anyways, let's start our lecture for today. I believe everyone, most of you, John, Louisa, John Lloyd, all right? See, I remember names. And Akash. Ma'am, have you ever had this lecture? Not yet. I think the lecture that you were able to attend was speaking enhancement. All right, but it's a little bit similar to that. I know some of you here, you've already heard this lecture, but the point here is reminders, and because sometimes there are students, you keep reminding them not to do this, not to do that, but you keep doing it. So we need to be reminded of things. Right. So let's take a look at some statistics, okay? So the average band score of test takers in the Philippines get a 6.8 in the interview, which is a 7 if you round it off. But it's not a 7, it's a 6.8. Those students who get a 6.8 in speaking are academic students. Now, if you take a look at the general training students, they get a 6.4. I'm not trying to show you the difference between general training and academic students. I'm not saying that general training students are weaker or not any better than academic students. It's just that the job that you're applying for requires you to get a lower score compared to academic students, because academic students are usually the ones who are going to apply student visas. Am I right? So the test is different because it tests you in an academic level, and then general training students, it just requires you a certain band score for your speaking ability. Okay? But if you can notice, there's only a 0.4 difference between general training band scores and academic students' band scores. However, academic students are expected to excel more or to get a higher score. So bakit? Why is there such a small difference between general training and academic students? It's because of the attitude, okay? So most academic students, they don't realize the importance of coaching and undergoing reviews. That's why they are kind of hard-headed. They don't want to listen. They don't want to accept coaching. And I feel like it's a general thing about people that if we are not ready to accept criticism or to accept teachings, or if we don't have a coachable attitude, then it affects the results of our tests. Okay. If you, however, 6.4, as you can see, general training students, they tend to get a higher band score compared to the requirement, which is usually for general training students, they are only required to get a 5, right? But then they get a higher band score when it comes to speaking, because general training students tend to have a better attitude towards improving, right? They have a different kind of hunger and thirst when it comes to lectures and coaching. That's why they tend to get a higher score. It's very important for academic students because they are nursing students. Some are applying for student visas. It's very important for them to get a higher band score because eventually, I know that most of you would like to apply for permanent residency or what's the other one called? Citizenship visa, right? Magkaiba po kasi, I don't want to explain it anymore because I might make a mistake, but there's a difference between permanent PR and citizenship visa. That's why most academic students, they really need to get a higher score so that they can easily get their PR or permanent residency visa. Okay? So the reason why we showed you these statistics is to show you that you have to have an attitude which is coachable. Okay? So the grading criteria for the speaking interview is fluency and cohesion, vocabulary and lexical resource, grammar and pronunciation. Okay, the newbies, who among you have already undergone interviews with Sir Kevin? Okay, first timer with Sir Kevin, am I right? First time with Sir Kevin as well. Have you ever had an interview with me? Not yet. Okay. Would you like to? There's hesitation in your tone. I'm just kidding. Yes, okay. So you already know how the flow goes. Women at the back, have you ever had an interview, speaking interview? Not yet. Okay, first timers. We have first timers. Okay, the reason why I'm asking is because baka sabihin niya, ano nagsasabi nito? Alright. So, as you know, IELTS has 4 components, 4 subtests. Okay? We have the listening test, the reading test, the writing test, and the speaking test. Okay? There are 4. However, what I'm talking about right now is the speaking test, which is also known as the interview. Okay? So the interview has 3 parts. Daming numbers. Okay, so the speaking interview has 3 parts. We have task 1, task 2, and task 3. All those tasks will grade you depending on how fluent you are, on the vocabulary words that you can produce or that you can use, your grammar, your sentence structure, okay, and pronunciation. Now, you need to show your best in all these 4 grading criteria in order for you to pass the interview. Okay? Ma'am, are you taking paper test or pen and paper? Pen and paper. How about you, ma'am? Computer. All right. So it's okay. Either is okay, especially for ma'am, because probably the difference between pen and paper test and computer test is that if people are not familiar in using gadgets, especially sa writing task, it's much advisable for you to take the pen and paper test because then you just have to write. Okay. But for those who are already familiar how to use laptops and computers, you are a fast typer. Okay, so that's good. Computer-based test is for you. Okay, let's talk about fluency and cohesion. When we say fluency and cohesion, this talks about how well you can respond to questions being asked during the interviews. How relevant and how fast you can respond. That's the test of fluency. Now, cohesion is all about organization of thought. Were you able to answer the question in an organized manner? Or there are so many paligoy-ligoy? Okay? Because there's a tendency for you to do that if you're not familiar with the interview task yet. But once you get familiarized, then you will have better control of how many sentences you can use in order to answer a single question. Okay? Okay. And fluency is not just about how fast you can respond and how fast you can speak. Fluency is all about how fast you can generate the ideas and the answers in your mind. Okay? Upon hearing a keyword, you're supposedly generating answers in your head already. So that when the question stops, you have an answer promptly and accurately. So that's very important. Become prompt and accurate with your answers. Meaning, kung ano yung tinanong, whatever the question is, I keep breaking the rules, sorry. Whatever the question is, that's what you answer. Nothing more or nothing less than the relevance of the idea. Okay? Hindi ko sinabing don't speak more, because IELTS interview is about speaking more. But what I'm trying to say here is the scope of the topic should not be jumped into a different topic. If I ask you what your favorite food is, you don't go on and start talking about your hobbies. Because definitely the question just requires you to answer, what is your favorite food? Okay? So you stick to it. The tendency is there are a lot of students who want to say a lot. You have so many ideas in your head, it feels like it's going to explode. But that's why you're here, because we need to learn how to control all your ideas. And that's all about fluency and cohesion. Now let's talk about vocabulary and lexical resource. What we're trying to talk about here is how competitive are you when it comes to using English vocabulary, the accuracy and the preciseness of the usage. Okay? It's not just about you impressing the interviewer with really complex words, but it's about how consistent are you from the beginning up to the end. Okay? Because the examiner can definitely gauge your level from the moment you open your mouth. Uy, OA. No, from the moment you speak 2 to 3 sentences, the examiner can already gauge your level. That's why we know if you've memorized something or not, okay? So vocabulary and lexical resource is all about your diction, okay? The preciseness, the appropriateness of the usage in a certain situation, in a certain idea, okay? Now, grammar. You will repeatedly hear this from us, your coaches, that grammar is not that important in the speaking test or in the interview. Grammar will not be such a big deal if there are a few slips here and there, okay? But it still counts. That's why it's here in the grading criteria. Because if it didn't count, it wouldn't be here at all, okay? So, grammar, if you make a few slips, really minimal lapses, the interviewer will not make a big deal with that. But if your lapses are continuous, prevalent, and repetitive, then that's when you get a lot of point deductions. But you also have to take note that grammar is very important when it comes to the writing test. Because in the writing test, you leave evidences. For example, wrong punctuation or wrong capitalization of words, letters. In the speaking test, you don't have to worry about that. The interviewer would definitely not notice if you miss a pause or not. But when it comes to the writing test, it's highly important. So, to be safe, you have to also provide good sentence structures during the interview. Okay? Yeah. Narinig naman kayo? EOP. No gossiping. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for providing that word, because apparently marites is not an English word, okay? It's not a Filipino word either. Okay, anyways, let's talk about pronunciation. So, pronunciation is actually one of the most important parts of the grading criteria. Why do you think so? Yes, do you have any ideas? Sorry? For how many minutes? I'm just kidding. Yeah, go ahead. All right, so pronunciation is very important. Not only how you enunciate words, but also how you listen to what the interviewer says. Okay? So the interviewer that you are going to be assigned to is random, meaning you don't know what to expect. It's a surprise. Whether that person has an Australian, a British, a New Zealand accent. What do you call people from New Zealand? Do you know? Can somebody search it up, please? What do you call people from New Zealand? Let's see. I asked someone to search it up, but I'm doing it myself. Okay, I'll do it myself. I kept wondering what people from New Zealand are called. Yes? Kiwis. Oh, actually, I had that in my mind. They're called kiwis. Like the fruit. O, tama na. Baka naman, ano pa maisip. Anyways, pronunciation. Let's talk about pronunciation. Because it's very important for you to train your ears to listen to different kinds of accents, different kinds of ways on how people pronounce words, okay? But when it comes to your interview, the most important thing is for you to have a neutral pronunciation. When we say neutral pronunciation, we're talking about clarity. Okay? It's very important that you open your mouth properly so that words and the articulation, the enunciation, how the sounds come out are accurate and precise. Because apparently there are words that change meaning because of different pronunciation. Okay? Do you have any examples of that? I don't want to say any more examples because I feel like I keep saying the same examples when it comes to pronunciation, and maybe you have heard it. But for those who have not heard it yet, I'll say it, okay? So, for example, the examiner asks, so there was a situation, there was a scenario wherein there are a bunch of men, there are some foreigners, and there are some Filipinos. And one Filipino guy said, hey, let's go out, let's hang out. And then the foreigner said, yeah, okay, let's go to the beach. Let's have some fun, let's drink, and stuff like that. However, when they got to the beach, surprisingly, those Americans brought their girlfriends with them. Very pretty women, foreigner, fair skin, blonde hair, and blue green eyes. So the Filipino is someone who came from a little bit of a secluded area in the Philippines. So he didn't really have a chance to see nature much. So when they came to the beach, he was so surprised of how beautiful the scenery was. So ayun, magkakasama sila, diba? The foreigners and the Filipinos. And then the Filipino said, wow, what a beautiful bitch. Apparently, he was misunderstood because the American said, how can you be so rude? Why are you calling my girlfriend a bitch? No. That's not what I meant. What I meant is the sea, the ocean. So it's supposed to be, What a beautiful beach. All right. So the short I vowel sound and the long E vowel sound matters. You feel like it doesn't matter? It does matter. Okay? Same goes with the interchanging of consonant sounds such as P and F. I'm a Filipino. Okay? It's supposed to be I'm a Filipino. Alright? And B and V. Okay? Let's go inside the van. So it's not van, it's van. Alright? Van. So that's why I want you to see the importance of pronunciation. It's so funny because I turned it up so that it won't be so cold, but then it feels hot. So indecisive. Okay. So I wanna give some reminders to I wanna share something to the newcomers or to the new students about the IELTS speaking test, the interview. I had something in my mind, but it suddenly slipped. Okay, what I wanted to say is that during the interview, you're going to be undergoing the interview ideally for 15 minutes. Unlike the listening, reading, and writing, that's 1 hour each, right? So 1 hour each for those 3 subtests. But when it comes to the speaking test, yeah, hey, because it's only 12 to 15 minutes. Now, if you're going to ask me, what if I finish my interview in 8 minutes or 7 minutes? Do you think that's good news? Yay, I finished early. I can go home. Definitely, you should not celebrate. Instead, you should prepare another 13K because you're going to retake the test, okay? If you finish the interview in less than 8 minutes, in less than 12 minutes, sorry, there's a higher chance for you to fail. Why? Because the ideal duration of the interview is 12 to 15 minutes. And as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 tasks. Task 1, task 2, and 3. Why am I saying that there's a higher chance for you to fail the interview if you only take 7 to 8 minutes in the speaking interview? Because it means you did not expound your answers. You only answered in single words or short phrases. You did not explain. You did not prolong. You did not extend your answers. That's why you finished the interview within 7 minutes. You need to speak more. That's why it's called a speaking test. And the ideal time for you to spend on the speaking test is 12 to 15 minutes. So the more you talk, the more chances of winning, the more chances of passing the interview. Okay? I just wanted to say that because we have some people who have not experienced the interview yet. So I am inviting you to come here tomorrow and have the speaking interview. Okay? By the way, Louisa, John, and Akash, I think you are batch mates, aren't you? Okay. So, some guys na nakasabay niya rin, batchmates, you're also batchmates in them. They already took the exam. I think it was last week. And they passed. So when are you taking your exam? I thought you said September 14, right? What happened? You're gonna retake it? Really? Oh, okay. That's okay. It's just one skill retake. How about you? I'm not pressuring you though. I'm just asking. I'm just asking. When did you start?
Have schedule yet.
When did you start here? August, September, October, November. Okay, yeah. Actually, 3 to 4 months is the ideal duration for you to undergo the review. Okay? Because it's the ample time for you to be prepared for the test. Okay? And you, Jan Lloyd, how about you? When are you taking your test? October. It's already September 19 right now, right? September 19? Is it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. That's right. So 3 to 4 months of taking the review, but some of you, I believe, are in a hurry. You feel like, I need to finish this in 1 month. Is it really a rush, or do you think you can take your time? Rush. O di kayo na, sige, umalis na kayo. No, I'm just kidding. So anyways, the reason why I'm asking is because I want to say that the ideal number of coaching sessions that you should attend is 10. 10 coaching sessions before you actually take the exam. Why? You will find out later. Teaser! First, we will talk about the common mistakes with fluency and cohesion. All right. By the way, I forgot to ask your name. What is your name? May. Okay, I can call you May, right? Charlene. Long time no see, Charlene. And Susanna. Susan. All right. So we have May, Susan. I want to ask the two of you, what word comes into your mind when you see this picture or when you look at that woman? What kind of emotion do you think she has right now? Yes, Susan? Yes, okay. There's hesitation. She looks shy. How about you, May?
I think she's thinking of something.
Can you think of one word only to describe her? Confused. Okay. Shy, lack of confidence, and confused. Those are definitely the words that suit her facial expression. Kinakabahan mo yung mga dialogue dito. I'm gonna ask everyone now, since everyone seems to be a little nervous. Okay, what do you think?
She feels jittery.
Jittery. Oh, we have someone here who's trying to improve her vocabs, right? That's right. Okay. How about you? What do you think she feels? Scared. Okay, scared. Yeah, definitely. There's a look in her eyes that you can say that she looks scared, right? How about you, Akash? What do you think? Anxious. Wow. Halata dito yung mga medyo matagal na nag-review. Angat-angat na yung ano nila eh. Yung vocabulary. What I was saying is, it's quite obvious that the people here have been in the review center for quite a long time. Because your vocabulary is, leveled up, something like that. Okay, Luisa. What do you think? No, you can't. You can't repeat what the other people already said. You have to think of synonyms, okay? So we have shy. No. Shy po ba yung sinabi niyo? Kayo po, ano sabi niya? Confused, okay. Charlene. Clueless. Oh, wow. Okay. Shy, clueless, confused, jittery. Scared, anxious. Okay, you can't take those words, huh? Think of other words. Stress. Stress. That's a perfect word. Okay, stress. John, how about you? Nervous. All right. Stress, nervous. Focus on the power. Okay, go na you go. Trouble. Oh wow. You guys are surprising me. Okay. Thing. It's a personal answer. It can be subjective. So while we're waiting for her, go ahead first. Worried. Worried. Okay, worried and wondering. Okay. Kaya ba today? Okay. So while we're waiting for Ruby's answer, she cannot leave the room without giving the answer. Okay, so again, I want to hear your answers again. Troubled, worried. Nakalimutan ko. Wondering, okay. Nervous, stressed, anxious, jittery, scared, confused, clueless, and shy. Okay. Thinking. Okay, she's thinking about something. Okay. So if you notice all your answers, it all boils down to lack of confidence, right? When we lack confidence, we tend to feel nervous, anxious, because you're clueless, right? And you're shy. And it's stressing you out when you can't come up with the right answers or the right words. So then you become troubled. And then during the interview, there's complete silence. Oh my god, complete silence in the interview. And I'm like, okay, are we gonna end or are we still there? Okay. So definitely this illustration reminds us how we are when we are experiencing something new, something unfamiliar. Okay? Do you remember the first time that you walked in a room and had a job interview? The first time. Do you remember? Or do you remember the first time that you stepped into the classroom and your teacher told you to introduce yourself in front of the class? So it's unfamiliar, okay? Do you remember the first time that you cooked something? Because I remember it, it was not edible. You couldn't eat it because it was burnt, okay? So I was really nervous because I didn't know how to handle the fire. I didn't know how to do anything back then. But I'm a changed person now, okay? I know how to cook. Don't judge me anymore. Anyways, do you remember the first time that you tried to ride a bicycle? Okay? There was no confidence. There was hesitation. You were scared. You were clueless. You were nervous. So same goes with IELTS. That's why, for those na nagmamatapang, they're trying to show bravery, not enrolling in any review center, not undergoing any coaching or training, definitely there's a higher chance for them to fail the test. Why are we saying that? It's actually a fact. Because we've had so many students who came here and said, I failed it because I didn't know there was a review for this. Because I didn't know that we should undergo coaching. That's why she was definitely surprised that IELTS is not something that you take for granted. Okay? Okay. During the interview, a lot of you will be stuttering, especially if it's your first coaching session. And especially if the coach is Sir Kevin. You will be stuttering because of sobrang kaba. Because he actually has this natural vibe that you can't even smile. If you feel like you're comfortable with me, that's the exact opposite when you have the interview with him. Okay? Because he's a poker face. But even though he doesn't show any emotion, at the end of the interview, he will break your emotions. Because he's gonna say, that was a dull interview. Okay? Very straightforward. That's why a lot of students tend to be so nervous when it comes to his coaching sessions. So, magpasalamat kayo kay Lord because I am the one assigned this week. Right? Thank you, Lord. It's Miss Sharon. Anyways, na. Okay, so stuttering fillers such as I don't know what to say. Stuff like that. Another filler that some people usually utter is the word like or yeah, okay. So anything in replacement of a straight sentence is a filler. Anything that disrupts the idea is a filler. Okay? Kasi some people, they sound fluent, they sound good, but they tend to have lots of fillers, such as the word like. That's because the flow of thoughts is not stable. Mentally unstable. Okay, what I mean is, if you know what to expect, and if you know what to say, especially on task one, there's no chance for you to utter any fillers. There's no chance for you to stutter. Unless when you attended the interview, you went there in an empty stomach, or you're sick, or you're worried, you had a fight with someone the day before. Okay? Yun na lang yung mga factors that will affect your performance. But if you undergone the training, the review for 3 to 4 months, if you were able to take 10 coaching sessions with us, I don't think that you will be uncomfortable or nervous during the interview. In fact, we're here to build your confidence. Okay? So, Luisa, has your confidence improved the moment you started? From the moment that you started the coaching until now, has it improved? Okay, can you please explain to us why? Why has your confidence improved ever since you started taking coaching sessions and undergoing a review? And I explain more. Okay, you know how to extend your answers. Okay, good. Your ideas are more organized. There's also got eliminated. Oh, that's wonderful news, Luisa. By the way, Huwag ka masyadong ma-amaze if English na English. There's a rule here. There's a new rule, and it's called EOP, English Only Policy. From the moment you step into this room, you are not allowed to speak in Filipino. So you're wondering why is it so quiet here right now? Ang benta talaga kay Luisa! Oh my goodness. All right, so as you, kanina when I stepped into this room, they were chattering. I was like, seriously? Oh, sige. I'm gonna set EOP. Let's see who makes noise now. Okay, anyways, thank you, Luisa, for being a testimony of how effective our review center is. Well, that's plug. Anyways, hang on, Cassandra, am I right? Oh no, who is Cassandra? Okay, Hannah, you've been here for a couple of months, right? So can you share with us how do you think you've improved from the moment you started until this moment? Yes, you've learned from your mistakes.
You and Sir Kevin told me what was I lacking. I practice it.
Okay, that's great.
And when I come back, I try my best to
Avoid.
avoid.
Okay. So now we have Susan and May. They're realizing hindi sayang yung 6'5". Okay. And you as well. Your name is Jomar. It's my first time asking you your name because when I was asking names, you were in the toilet, right? So Jomar is your name, okay? All right, so there. For you to be less uncomfortable and less nervous, what you should do is practice. Did you hear what she said? She practiced at home. Because reality is you only get to have a coaching session once a week. We contribute to that, but the bigger contribution comes from yourself. Okay? So when you go home, you practice. That's also the reason why we can't coach you consecutive days. Because we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're here for you. We're here for you. Ang sweet pakinggan, no? So we're here for you. But then, only once you can have the coaching session. That's why you need to practice in front of the mirror. And I believe everyone already owns an Android phone or an iOS phone. iPhone? Android phone? Whatever. All those phones already have a voice recorder or voice memo. So when you practice at home, you just play it. You just record yourself and listen to yourself. Because self-evaluation is actually very important for you to improve those speaking skills of yours. Okay? Limited vocabulary. So the solution is read more, observe English speakers. We all have access to online resources such as YouTube, Spotify, Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Channel. Bakit hindi pinanggit ni Ma'am yung GMA at saka yung ABS? Eh kasi puro Tagalog doon, okay? You can't get anything from there, okay? That's why you can watch English films, English series. If you want, you can practice British by watching your favorite series on whatever platform you know, okay? Another way for you to improve your vocabulary is read. Okay? I remember when I was really young, I would just play all day after school. My mom was literally so angry at me because I was just playing all the time. She got the dictionary and put it on my table. She slammed it on my table. Read, that's what she said. I said, seriously? That thick? It was that thick. Binasa ko ba ang tanong? Not really. Okay, I didn't really read it, but somehow I tried because I was scared. I was scared. So I want you to have the right amount of fear. Okay? Be scared to fail the exam. Be scared of paying another chunk of money so that you can force yourself to study and learn more words. But is that technique appropriate to really memorize the whole dictionary? No, because 3 to 4 months is not enough. Probably you need a couple of years. And I myself, I have never attempted to memorize the vocabularies. I've never attempted to read the whole dictionary and memorize all the words. You might even go and search all the English words that you can encounter in IELTS. But that's not the key to pass the exam. In order for you to improve your vocabulary, you have to first know what are the common questions that are being asked in IELTS interview. So sa task 1, madali lang po yun. It's really very easy because on task 1, all the questions that will be asked are about you, your hobbies, your educational background, your work experiences, your family, your likes and dislikes. The technique is know yourself and know the topics that you are about to talk about. Okay? Let's say I'm going to attend an interview for IELTS. Definitely, alam ko na po na one of the questions that will be asked to me is, what are your hobbies? So do I still need to learn words and lexical resources about sports if sports is not my hobby? No, right? It's a waste of time. Well, not waste of time, but yeah. What I'm saying is, if I am asked the question, what is your hobby? So, first of all, my hobby is traveling. Let's say traveling is my hobby. I like experiencing new cultures and I like seeing beautiful scenery. Now, every topic has a certain language or registers in English, which means I have to learn words that are related to traveling because I am more likely to talk about it on test 1 because it's a constant question, right? In test 1, what is your hobby? So I have to learn words that are about traveling, like tourist spots, tourist attraction. I would like to experience different cultures and learn about their lifestyle. Okay? I like to experience different cuisines. Mga ganong words related to traveling. That's what you get familiarized with. Now, if the question is, are you currently working or studying? If you're studying, you have to know what your major is, know the words related to your major, so that on test 1, you can already establish a good rapport. Okay? Which means you've already impressed the interviewer test 1 because you know exactly what to say, your lexical resources, your vocabulary is precise and appropriate in every situation. Do you get my point? So We don't read and memorize all the words in the dictionary. Instead, we memorize cluster of words depending on the topics that you are most likely to talk about. Okay? So that's how you improve your vocabulary. If your hobby is, let's say, volleyball, then know the words, the technicalities about volleyball, know the rules. Okay? Anyways, let's move on. Does not understand the question, unfamiliar with the topic. Okay, this feels like it's doomsday because sometimes we will not be familiar with a topic that will be asked. Okay? For example, the question is, what are the social problems in your country nowadays? Ano sagot? What are the social problems that we're experiencing? From the word social, not political, not environmental. Yes, please? False information, or what you call scamming, right? Okay, so we have internet or online scamming. That's a social problem. You can talk about that. But what if wala kang maisip bigla, right? It's okay to ask the interviewer to repeat the question. Especially, baka sa unang tanong, wala kang naisip, but if you ask the question again, you might come up with something. Okay? Because sometimes questions need to be repeated in order for them to register more in our brains. Okay? That's why you ask the questions to be repeated. How do you ask it? Pardon. No, you don't say pardon. You just say, can you please repeat the question? So you're not gonna speak in Filipino. Ano po nga? No, okay. You're not gonna say, huh? What? No, that sounds rude. In IELTS, it's very important to be polite and show professionalism at all times. That's why you simply say, can you please repeat the question? Okay? Okay. Also, you have to listen to the keywords. Because when you listen to the keywords, something will come up in your mind. Okay? Now, ma'am, ito, very frequent question na natatanong ka ng students. What if I have zero idea about the question or about the topic? First tip, ask to be repeated. Ask the question to be repeated. Second tip, the first thing that comes into your mind, whether you feel like it's simple or not so big of an answer, the first relevant idea that comes into your mind, that's what you talk about. Now, third tip, if you really can't think of anything, step out of the room. No, you will not step out of the room. You will be honest. Because honesty is the best policy. But why did I say those 3 tips and steps? Because I don't want you to give up easily. Okay? Hindi yung una pa lang, sorry, I don't know anything about that topic. Okay? Try. Because if the interviewer sees that you have an attitude of, ano yun, yung not a quitter. If you have an attitude of not quitting, it shows that you're really persevering towards your goal, right? Sometimes, kahit ang pangit ng skills mo, but when the interviewer sees your attitude, they might have a change of heart, okay? So, because IELTS is a subjective test when it comes to the speaking speaking component, sometimes it becomes subjective because it's being done by human. Unlike PTE, it's all AI generated. So everything is really statistic. Anyways, going back on tip number 3, what you should do if you really can't, yung feeling mo na corner ka and there's no way out, you simply say, to be honest, I'm not very familiar with the topic or the issue. But don't worry, because as soon as I go home, I'll research about it so that I can be knowledgeable about that issue. It sounds better than saying, I don't know what to say. It sounds better than just dead silence, right? Okay, good. We have so many more slides, but we're only on slide 1. Another cause of stuttering and fillers is trying too much not to commit them. So the stability of your mind has a very big effect on how you can perform during the interview. Okay? So don't be too harsh on yourself. Oh, you were able to have the interview, am I right? How was it? Did you stutter or anything? No? Can I ask you this for if it's okay? Really? Whoa! I'm so proud of him because I coached him a lot of times. Uy, kinuha credit. Kinuha credit. No, I'm just kidding. He's already good when it comes to speaking, even before he started the review. So I was confident that you were gonna pass the interview. Okay. All right. Anyways, when you're too harsh on yourself and you think about fillers too much, that's when that's when you actually commit more. Okay? Imagine you keep thinking of something because you're worried about it, but worrying doesn't really solve anything. Okay? It just stresses you out. So don't worry too much if you commit a lot of fillers. Just keep talking, okay? Unable to link words, phrases, and sentences to form an idea. Okay, so many students come to me and say, um, so I asked them after the interview, what happened? Why couldn't you answer? And then they would say, I had some ideas, but I didn't know how to express them in English. And another problem is students have a problem with using linking words. So the ideas don't come out as concise as they should. That's why it becomes a problem. What time is it? Oh, 10:23. Okay, in 2 minutes, we're going to have a break. So you should attend grammar sections here on our review center so that you can learn what are the words that you should be using when it comes to linking ideas. Okay? Words such as because, however, furthermore, additionally, in fact, okay? Apparently, probably, those are linking words that could make you sound more concise when you speak. Okay, introducing opinions. I guess, I think, I believe. Introducing reasons, you simply say because. Okay? For example, the question is, what do you think are the qualities of a good manager? I believe that the qualities. So when you say I believe, by calling introduction, you tend to get more time to think, right? So I believe one of the qualities of being a good manager is being a good role model to your employees, to your team members. So, may 1 point ka na. Then you can think of 2 more points. So, after saying that, being a good role model, give some reasons and examples. Don't just say, I think that one of the qualities of a good manager is being a good role model. Why? You always have to ask the question why and answer it, okay? Because members follow by example. They follow what they see. I remember when I started in the company, I was a humble employee, but I then just followed my manager and all the good attributes that my manager showed. One day, I was well trained and ready to take on the manager position. Mga ganyan lang, okay? So you gave a reason, you gave a point, a reason, and an example. Now, when you're introducing ideas, for example, the question is, what is your favorite hobby? My favorite hobby is swimming. It doesn't end there. I know it's a full sentence. Sabi mo, ma'am, don't answer with a single word or a phrase. But then that was a full sentence. I think that's enough. No, it's not enough. In IELTS, you always read it out. Okay? My favorite hobby is swimming because it's a good cardio exercise. Okay? That's it. Now, introducing results of something. So, what do you think are the effects of climate change in the Philippines, in the world? Okay? Climate change. You know, may ko kanina may nag-uusap about climate change. Are you those people? What test was that? Reading? Writing. So the topic was about climate change. All right, okay. So let's say, what do you think are, ano na nga yung tanong ko kanina? I forgot. The effects of climate change to the world or to Earth. There are various effects of climate change in the world, but I believe one of the most troublesome is the, ano nga ba yung pinaka-troublesome? Okay, one of the most troublesome effects of climate change is extreme weather conditions, calamities that come unexpectedly. So I believe each individual should contribute in helping the environment sustain its life. Ayun no, naging environmentalist. Okay, if you're uncertain about an answer, you can use linking words such as maybe, probably. Okay, for example, the question is, what do you see yourself doing after 5 years? Very Miss Universe yung tanong, ano? Okay, so probably after 5 years, I see myself owning a Porsche. Uy, owning a Porsche! Okay, why not, right? Actually, words are important. What you think is what you say, and what you say can manifest, right? So don't be scared to declare amazing things in your life. If you keep declaring that you will be passing the IELTS examination, then so be it, right? Because it all starts with positivity. But anyway, we're gonna take a 5 to 10 minute break right now because I want to. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so another reason why we are having trouble when it comes to our fluency, when it comes to um, cohesion. Cohesion simply means the organization of your answers. Okay? So now, why are there some ideas that lack organization? It causes lack of organization because one of the factors is that you have too many ideas. All right? One of the factors is you are overwhelmed. You don't know what to say because from the moment you heard the question, you got nervous and definitely overwhelmed with so many answers. So, one of the techniques is no matter how basic or no matter how simple, whatever comes into your mind first, that's what you answer. Okay? Don't try too hard because you will end up causing very long pauses and definitely your ideas will be crisscrossed and all over the place. So, in order for you to have arrangement of ideas, you have to take note of these strategies or methods, okay? You can follow method number one, which is the chronological order. Okay? Listen carefully. When we say chronological order, it has something to do with time. Okay? It has something to do with the order of how things happened from beginning up to the end. This is applicable to questions such as describe your daily routine. Tell me about your family. And then suddenly you want to talk about how you met your husband or wife. So you talk about the beginning first. You don't start talking about the end. Now, if you're asked the question, what is your daily routine? You start by describing things that you do, saying things that you do in the morning first. When I wake up in the morning, yada, yada, yada. And in the afternoon, I do this, that. And finally, in the evening, this and that. Okay? You don't start by describing what you do in the evening and then end with what you do in the morning. It doesn't go that way. Chronological order has something to do with the arrangement of how things happen according to the timeline. Okay? So now, let's talk about spatial order. Okay, let's repeat the word spatial. When you say the word spatial, hindi mo yan special show ha. Spatial, the root word of spatial is space. Okay, some of you might be thinking about outer space, but it's not that. When you say spatial order, we're talking about how you can describe a place, such as describe your home. How are you going to talk about the buildings? How are you going to talk about the establishments in your hometown? Or if not hometown, describe the city that you live in. Or describe your neighborhood. That's when you use spatial order. When you can organize your thoughts talking about a certain area after talking about another area. Or maybe a question that could come out is, can you describe your home, your house? What's your favorite room in your house? Okay? So now you talk about space. Our house is a 2-story building. Let's talk about the first floor muna, bago tayo pumunta sa second floor. And if you have a roof deck, talk about it last, okay? So first, let's talk about the first floor. Our house is a two-story house. The first room is the living room. Next to that is the dining area. To the left, there's a bedroom. And further to the left, there's another bedroom. Ayan, okay? Words such as left, right, across from, those are words, vocabulary words that you need to be equipped with in order for you to describe spatial situations. Okay? Now, my favorite room in the house is definitely my bedroom. Because my bedroom is well lit since it's facing the sunrise. Okay? Ganon. In my bedroom, I have my own toilet for my convenience and so that it can help me save time. Okay? And then my room is quite spacious. There's a queen size bed, 2 tables on each side of the bed, side tables, and a study desk where I work when I need to finish paperwork at home. My room is actually very simple. It doesn't have a closet because I want things to be organized in my room. Instead, it has a big window where I can let the fresh air come in. I have a separate room as my closet because I have too many clothes and I don't want them to be cluttered in my bedroom. Baka naman sabihin nyo, bahay namin to, hindi ah. Ang social naman yun, may walk-in closet. I'm just trying to give an example, okay? But actually, totoo, wala akong cabinet sa kwarto kasi ayoko nang magulo. Like, I really don't like cluttered things. I like things to be organized. So I don't put any closet. Because if you have closet and clothes in your room, the tendency is it gets really cluttered and unorganized, right? Okay. Now we have the causal order. From the word causal, we talk about cause and effect. Okay? So if questions are like, what do you think are the reasons? What are the reasons why Manila has severe traffic congestion? So you talk about the causes and then you talk about the effects. Okay? That's how you organize your thoughts. One of the causes of severe traffic congestion in Manila is overpopulation. Second is too many vehicles. And third, third, sorry? Okay, so the condition of the roads, okay? They are not big enough to accommodate the number of vehicles commuting on a daily, okay? So we have 3 points. You presented 3 points. You talk about 1 point at a time. Overpopulation. If there were better opportunities in provinces or smaller cities, people would not apply for jobs in Manila. So you explained 1 point already. Point number 2. Point number 2. I'm so forgetful. Okay, too many private vehicles and too many public vehicles at the same time. So, one of the causes of too many vehicles commuting at the same hour, rush hour, is because jobs and schools open at the same time. That's why roads become congested at certain hours from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So one solution to that is different shifting schedules for workers. And lastly, point number 3 is the infrastructure of the roads in the city. They need to be improved so that it can accommodate the number of vehicles commuting daily. So, did I explain it in an organized way? That gets? Yes, because we use the causal order. You state the causes and then you state the effects or the solutions. Okay? It's very similar to problem solution order. Why do you think there's a high rate of teenage pregnancy in the Philippines or in your country? One of the major reasons why there's a high rate of teenage pregnancy in my country is because of poverty. And I believe the solution to poverty is supplying educational platforms for individuals in slums. Okay? Mga ganun lang. You don't need to complicate things. Kung ano yung pumasok una sa isip mo, explain mo na yun. Okay? Because I believe that poverty is because of lack of education. Parang pang Miss Universe talaga yung mga sagutan natin today, ano? And I, as a candidate, I will help the community. Okay. Topical order. Now we have topics. You have a main topic, you can give subtopics. Kagaya nung ginawa ko kanina. Now let's say the topic is, why do you think, ano ba yung mga social problems? Probably in your neighborhood, okay? Why do you think there is no proper waste segregation in your neighborhood? So the topic is waste segregation. Now you think of at least three subtopics about waste segregation. Accumulation of disposable plastic. Okay? Lack of knowledge when it comes to waste segregation. And definitely lack of discipline among Filipinos. It's so sad. Hopefully, one day, Philippines can change for the better. But that's not for us to talk about because we're focusing on the speaking interview. Okay. Di mo kasi maiwasan isipin yun dahil when you step out of your house, that's what you see. Right? Filipinos are not disciplined. So, I hope that changes one day. Hesitation and self-correction. Focusing too much on vocabulary and grammar. Okay. Commit to your answers and do not make mistakes obvious. When you make a mistake, a grammatical mistake, you don't need to focus too much on it. Don't highlight it by trying to correct yourself. Instead, move on with what you're saying and correct it with the next examples or sentences that you're going to share. Okay? Just let it slide. It's not something that you can rewind or delete anymore. The damage has been done. Don't focus on it too much and don't highlight it too much. Move on. And when it comes to vocabulary, I know you're trying to impress the interviewer by using words that are actually more complex or deeper or more, appropriate. But if you feel like you're not confident on how to use those words just stick with the simple ones. Okay? So that safe, your answer will be safe. And you will try, because when you overthink about it, that's when you more likely make mistakes. Okay? So just stick with what comes out in your mind first. Changing answers in the middle of my God, may naalala naman ako. Alright, guys, don't be indecisive during the interview. Okay? Once you already said something, stick with it. Explain it, give examples. Don't waver and change your answers, especially if the question is agree or disagree. Why? Because you're putting yourself in a very difficult spot. You took your time explaining why you agree, and then suddenly you try to change your mind and explain why you disagree. So it doesn't show consistency. It's not powerful because you changed your answer. And there's more room for mistake. You see, even you will get confused when you keep answering differently. Okay? I remember there was a student who had an interview with me. And first thing I asked is, hi, can you tell me your name, please? What's your name? So apparently, when you answer that question, you can't just answer, I'm Susan. No. Okay? Hi, I'm Susan. Nice to meet you. You can call me Susan, as Susan is how my friends call me. My friends and family call me. However, there's one interviewee who got really confused and undecided. Dalawa kasi name niya eh. Mark John. Okay? So sabi ko, hi, can you tell me your name, please? Hi, my name is Mark. You can call me Mark. Oh no, you can call me John. Unang tanong pa lang, hindi na siya sure. Make up your mind. That's why, back to rule number 1, practice. Hi, my name is Mark John Dela Cruz. You can call me Mark for short. Okay? Make up your mind. Don't complicate things. Remember, the first few sentences that come out of your mouth already establishes an impression to your interviewer. So you have to be very careful, okay? Trying to come up with impressive answers. Always remember, IELTS is not a test of intelligence. Okay? A lot of people have a wrong conception about IELTS. Hindi ako pwede dyan, hindi ako matalino. Not that brainy. But it's not about intelligence. It says here that IELTS is a speaking test. It tests how well you can express your thoughts in English. At kung may naririnig kayo na mga bashing online just because a certain celebrity can't speak in English so well, because we have that, Filipino mentality. Ay, hindi magaling mag-English, ang bobo. Ganyan. Okay? We need to change that. Apparently, intelligence is not linked on how fluent your English is. Because I can come up here and say whatever I want in English, but it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't, what do you call that? It doesn't assure that I am intelligent. It's all about your content, right? Intelligence is the content that you say. That's when you know when a person is intelligent, right? What comes from their mouths and how they deliver. But when it comes to IELTS, remember, this is an avenue to check how well you can answer questions. And the questions are not that difficult because on test one, they're just gonna ask you about you, your your current situation. Like, are you studying? Are you working? Next question would probably be, since nasabi mo that you're working and you told the interviewer what your job is, let's say, I work as a teacher. And I've been working as a teacher for the past 9 years. And I've been enjoying it so far because teaching is a noble job that is also an avenue to impart wisdom and knowledge to students. So, yan. So, can you tell me, what do you think are the difficulties of being a teacher? One of the difficulties of being a teacher is handling different characters and behaviors in the classroom. It's not easy since every student has their own background. So every student has a different situation. Okay? So, kailangan ko ba ng talino para isagot yung tanong ngayon? No, because it's all about what I do, the nature of my job. Okay? Next question could be, tell me about your family. Do you need intelligence to answer that question? You just simply say, I have 5 siblings, and both my parents are still alive, so we're a total of 8 members in the family. Yun lang. Okay? You know exactly what to say about your family. But you can't answer, my family is big. Hindi ganun lang, ha? Of course, you have to explain. Okay, I have a big family. In fact, I have 5 siblings, so we are 6 children in total. Then I have my parents. It makes us a total of 8 family members. Di ba? Ganda pakinggan. I have a big family. Tapos na. Okay? So that's not it. You have to come up with answers that are true to life. Okay? And now, sa task 2, of course, the questions are getting a little bit more leveled up. But actually, the questions on task 2 are situational. Questions such as, which country would you like to visit in the future? So there are some questions. What the country is? Why did you choose that country among other countries? Where do you want to go in that country? Who do you want to go with? In your task 2, there's a question and there are bullet questions underneath. Okay? Do you need intelligence for that? Not really. That's it. Subjective answer lang yun eh. You're just gonna say, which country do you want to go to? Okay? And of course, add the details. Now, task 3, this is where you need intelligence, okay? But, as I said, if you feel like you're not confident about a certain topic, there's always a better way for you to answer it, okay? You can follow the tips that I shared earlier. You can be honest if you really don't know what the topic is all about, but mostly the topics are very general, okay? You don't need to discuss the statistics of something, okay? That's why IELTS is not an intelligence test. It's actually a speaking test. So that, kaya naman hinirapan yung task 3 is because the IELTS the IELTS British Council or whatever, they want to know how you can handle certain topics. They want to know how well your vocabulary can be used. Okay, how appropriate you can use your vocabulary, how well you can construct sentences. Okay, that's why you don't have to worry. Because we will be providing you with set of questions that are mostly asked. Okay? We will be providing you PDF files that you can review the questions because you need to be prepared, whatever the question comes. Okay? It's really random. Distracted, daydreaming, thinking about consequences of test results. Okay, one way for you not to be distracted is to make sure that you are ready physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, okay? Because your focus highly depends on your current condition on the day of the exam. So how can you prevent things from happening? Avoid distractions. A few days or a week before the exam, don't go drinking with friends. Don't exhaust your voice in the videoke bar or videoke with your neighbors partying hanggang madaling araw, okay? So, preserve your energy, your voice, your time, okay? Your attention. Think of better or appropriate words. When you're thinking for better or appropriate words, there's a high possibility for you to keep making mistakes. Because you keep trying, forcing your brain to think of more complex words. Eh, yun nga lang yung kaya eh. Diba? So don't push yourself too much. But what I'm saying is, it's not all about the. I'm not saying that you shouldn't improve your vocabulary. What I'm saying is, on the moment of the exam, if yun lang talaga yung pumasok sa isip mo, yun na yun, okay? For example, the situation is, the question is, would you book a hotel that has a bad review? Eh, wala kang alam the terms and words about hotels. Okay? So, use the word book, reserve, reservation, okay? Confirmation. So, for example, I would not stay at a hotel that has a bad review. Because for me, reviews are very important since they serve as warnings, not to experience the experiences that other people had. Okay? So if you can't think of other words from the word book or bad review, it's okay if you use those words. But if you can, then try. Okay? I would not stay or I would not spend time or waste time, exhaust time in a hotel with a bad review because I put a lot of importance in the money that I earn, and I want my hard-earned money to go to better experiences. Okay? Alright, so those are ways on how you can avoid long pauses. Marami kasi mga test takers, bigla na lang silence, walang masabi during the coaching session. It's because you're trying too hard. Hindi ko kasi maisip yung gusto mong sabihin or hindi ko masabi in English. But the thing is, kaya mong sabihin, nag-hesitate ka lang because takot kang magkamali. Right? So don't be so scared about it. Short answers. Teka lang. Check ko yung time. Answering with yes or no. As mentioned earlier, don't answer yes or no. Don't answer in single answers. Okay? Because the moment you just answer yes or no, sobrang, it's the end of the world. No. Okay, so there are questions that are answerable by yes and no. Okay, yes or no. Do you like music? Yes. But in IELTS, You don't just say yes and you don't just say no. You explain. You expound. Yes, I like music. My favorite genre is K-pop. My favorite band, boy band, is BTS because they're so adorable and very talented. O, di ba? Ilang sentences lang yon. Yes, I like music. My favorite genre is K-pop. My favorite boy band is BTS because they are adorable and very talented. Those are 3 sentences only. But was it contentful? Was it an effective answer? Yes, it was. Okay, no structure, speaking task 2. So sa speaking task 2, sabi ko nga kanina, there is a main question and there are bullet questions that you will be seeing. Now, 2 minutes, you will be given a minute to prepare for your answer on task 2. And then 2 minutes, you need to be able to speak and answer the questions for 2 minutes. There are some instances that the examiner stops you when you've already reached 2 minutes. Does that mean that you gave a wrong answer? Does that mean that you made a mistake? No, it just means that they're following a time limit. Okay? So now, if the problem is you don't have much to say and you can't even reach 2 minutes, hindi mo naman kailangan only to stick to the questions there. If you feel like you need more information or share more about the topic, you can add more. Just make sure that it's still relevant to the topic. Okay? Okay, so sa mga bago dyan, alam ko namang hindi nyo naiintindihan yung mga pinagsasabi ko right now. Kaya ipapakita ko muna sa inyo. Sa mga nakapag coaching session na with us, you already know what I'm talking about. But let's give consideration to the ones who don't know yet. Ano nangyari? Nagre-record pa rin siya pero no signal. Wait lang ah. So can everybody see my screen right now? Okay, so this is what I'm trying to explain. So this is an example of task cards in task 2. So task 1 will be asking questions such as, what's your name? How can I call you? Are you currently studying or working? What do you like about your job? What are your hobbies? What do you do in your free time? These are the questions that are most likely to come out on task 1. On task 2, describe your favorite sport. What the sport is, how often do you play this sport, how is this played, why you like playing it. Hindi niyo po babasahin isa-isa and then sasagutan. You have to make it sound like it's a speech. Okay? Describe your favorite sport. The reason why there are bullet questions here is because it serves as your guide so that you know what are the things that you need to discuss and you need to include. All right? Let's try to answer this. I have a lot of favorite sports. I have a lot of sports that I enjoy doing, but top on the list is badminton. Kung mapapansin niyo po, hindi ko inulit yung my favorite sport is. Because imagine, it sounds like you just parroted what the question is. So try to make a little introduction. Or if you're not a sporty type, you can easily say, actually, I'm not really into sports, but there is one sport that I really enjoyed in my childhood, and that is badminton. I would play badminton 3 times a week because I had a friend who is a pro badminton player and he wanted someone to play with. So I said, okay, let's play together. So he would invite me to play badminton every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Badminton is played with 2 rackets and hindi mo alam yung English nung ano. Okay. It's played with a shuttlecock. Alright? So now, what if nakalimutan mo yung shuttlecock? What are you gonna do? It's played with a small ball with feathers. You can describe, okay? Wag mong, don't be too harsh on yourself. Try to say like, what is it called again? Okay, you're wasting time. Remember, it's only 2 minutes. You need to answer, okay? You play it with 2 rackets, 2 badminton rackets. They look like a thinner version of a tennis racket. And it's much lighter than it. Now, the ball is not a typical ball. It's actually a soft ball with feathers surrounding it. And the goal is you have to hit that ball with feathers back and forth across the court. Ganun, okay? Kasi nga hindi mo nga maalala yung shuttlecock. Ako naalala ko yun. Sinasabi ko lang sa inyo yung example. What if you really can't remember the word shuttlecock, okay? Why you like playing it? Everyone says that playing badminton is an overall body movement because you get to run left and right, back and forth. You get to use your legs and your arms at the same time. That's why badminton is a total workout. And it helps me with my cardio exercise, and I sweat a lot when I play badminton. That's why I recommend badminton for people who are not really inclined to sports but want to get a good workout. Ganun, okay? Kung pakikinggan mo, napaka-organized niya pakinggan. Right? And contentful. Okay, let's try another one. Say something about a kind neighbor. Ma'am, di po kami close ng neighbors namin. Masasama po ugali nila, ma'am. Hindi sila namimigay ng spaghetti. Spaghetti. Hindi sila namimigay ng spaghetti pag may birthday. Samantalang ako, binigyan ko sila ng lumpia. No, I'm just kidding. Well, what if you don't have a kind neighbor? That's okay. Gawin na lang natin kind yung visit mo neighbor. Okay. So sabihin na natin visit na visit ka sa neighbor mo, no? Pwede naman, since we are Filipinos and we usually live in a community wherein our houses are located near our relatives, right? So we have cousins, aunts, uncles living around us. Yun yung usual setup when you live in provinces and places such as Cabanatuan City. But in Manila, definitely people live in apartments or condos. Ooh, isa siya. Anyways, let's talk about a kind neighbor. It can be your uncle, it can be your auntie, your cousin. Neighbor mo ba rin naman yun? Okay? And that makes it easier for you to answer that question because you're Filipino. And that's the setup that you've been used to. Okay? So who the neighbor is. Okay. So first, make an introduction about the topic. Living in the Philippines, we usually live near our relatives. It's a really nice place it's a good community wherein we can practice camaraderie and build our social skills since we live near our relatives. But there is one person that has a very unique personality. Her name is Sarah. Sarah is my aunt, and she lives across from our house. She's a tall woman with fair skin and curly brown hair. Actually, she's very pretty, and I think I take after her. Mana sa auntie na pretty. Okay, pwede mo naman sabihin yon if you want, okay? I think I take after her, especially many people would say that we kind of have a resemblance. Well, everyone has a bad attitude sometimes, but Aunt Sarah happens to be extra kind to anyone she sees and meets. In fact, if you ask our neighbors to describe my Aunt Sarah, they would all say that my Aunt Sarah is very generous. Okay? She loves giving away her old clothes and furniture to our neighbors because she tends to change her furniture every season. Ang yaman, every year. Okay? So her generosity is such a ray of sun. Mga ganyan. Aside from being generous, she is also very caring. Whenever I'm sick, she would always come by our house and check on me and encourage me to have a healthier diet. Alam niyo ba yung bento lang lahat ng sinabi ko? So kung kaya kong imbentohin, kaya niyo rin po, lalo na kung wala kayong kind neighbor. Okay. So, gets ba natin na minsan, hindi kasali dun sa bullet questions, pero pwede mong dagdagan. As long as you reach the 2-minute quota. Kung akala nyo, ala pang 2 minutes yun, ay, sumobra ako sa 2 minutes. Pero if you're gonna timer it, minsan kulang pa yon yung sinabi ko na yon para ma-reach yung 10 minutes. That's why I encourage you, practice at home so that ma-check nyo, is my answer gonna really reach 2 minutes or not? Oh, nagsialis na sila. But I'm still recording this, so I still need to share my screen. Okay. So, ayan. Getting off topic. Talking too much, getting carried away. There is a high tendency for you to get carried away. But you always have to remember, stick to the question, stick to the topic. Because being irrelevant, supplying irrelevant answers will lead to more mistakes and point deductions. So, in order for you to have a good control of how much you can answer, stick to it that you speak no more than 4 sentences for each question. Sa task 1, okay lang 2 to 3 sentences because task 1 is more like a warm up. But when it comes to task 2 and 3, you need to expound more, 3 to 4 sentences. So why are we encouraging 3 to 4 sentences? Because when you talk more about a certain topic, wala nang masyadong time yung examiner to keep asking you questions. O, di ba? So it's safer that way because then you get to talk about a certain topic and I feel like hindi naman lahat versatile to talk about all different topics under the sun. That's why if you expound on your answer, 3 to 4 sentences, it's more likely to be asked only a few questions. Okay? Common mistakes with vocabulary and lexical resource. So as I explained earlier, you don't need to memorize the whole dictionary. What you can do here is familiarize yourself with clusters of topics, of words, depending on the topic that is most likely to come out during task 1. Okay? So if your favorite hobby is um, cooking, so you learn words that you could use in cooking, all right? Stove, preheating, make sure that the temperature, um, put it in the oven or stir fry or saute. Yung gisa kasi sa English, saute yun eh. Okay? Paano na? Yeah. What is your favorite dish and how can you cook it? Mga ganon. Let's say ganon yung tinanong sa inyo. So, syempre, it's a chronological order. First, you have to chop garlic and onion. And then you saute it on a pan with some butter or oil, depending on what's available. And then when the garlic and the onions are o, di ba? Hindi ko nga panindigan na marunong ako magluto. Marunong talaga. Okay. What do you call it when yung brownish na konti? Go, ayun! See, when the garlic and the onions are golden brown, that's when you know that you should add the meat. Okay? Mga ganon, okay? So you need to know words such as add, chop, slice, mince. Okay? And stir, mix. Iba kasi yung stir sa mix. Iba din yung blend or... Ayaw na. Okay, let's move on to the next. Bakit ba kasi cooking pa yung tinanong ko? Misuse of words. Avoid complex or highfalutin words. When you say highfalutin words, these are actually words that are extremely complex. As I said earlier, on task 1, the examiner can already tell anong level mo sa vocabulary, kung kaya ba nito talaga, consistent ba siya na nakakapagsabi ng difficult words, or dito lang sa part na to kasi na-memorize niya yun. Okay? Alam ng examiner yon. That's why, don't try too hard. Because when you try to come up with highfalutin words, that's when you put yourself into deep shit, right? So it means, parang ang nakatapak ng tao eh. Kasi hindi, joke lang. Kasi it's a very difficult situation. You don't know what to do, right? So, try to just stick with what you can, okay? Repeated use of specific words. Words such as, yung tanong kanina, before, what is your favorite sport, right? So, physical activities. Or, I'm not into athletics. Mga ganyan. You can use, instead of just saying, my favorite sport is, one of the favorite physical activities that I like, or I'm not really into athletics, but if I were to answer that question, okay. So for example, the word population, you can use synonyms such as number of people living in a specific area. Okay? So don't repeat words all the time. Try to find synonyms. Try to find words that can be used in substitute or to alter. Okay? Overuse of transitional signals such as to, okay, TOO, or also. Pwede namang in addition, or and, on the other hand, however, but, mga ganyan, okay? So don't keep saying the same transition words again and again. Overuse of adverbs. Mahilig ang mga Pilipino dito. I really, really enjoy swimming at the beach. Okay. Instead of saying really, really enjoy, you can say, what is an alternative for really, really enjoy? I find it extremely adventurous. Mga ganun, di ba? Or, one of the most fun activities that I like doing is going to the beach, swimming in the ocean. Mga ganyan. And then Filipinos also like to repeat the word very. She's a very, very good singer. No, instead of saying that, you should say she's an excellent, brilliant singer. Okay? Ano yung sabi mo? Great singer. Yes, okay. Parroting the examiner. So, one way for you to avoid parroting the examiner, parroting means repeating the exact question or words that the examiner used. Paraphrase. Paraphrasing is not changing the idea, it's just changing the vocabulary words and changing the arrangement, the structure, okay? Directly answer, or you can just directly answer the question. If ayaw mong ulitin yung question, you can just directly answer it. But sometimes people use the paraphrasing technique because they're trying to buy more time, right?
Later.
Okay, eto. Standard introduction speaking task. Ito yung diniscuss ko sa inyo kanina nung pinakita ko sa inyo yung task cards. Na hindi mo naman kailangan i-repeat yung pinaka-question. What you can do is try to paraphrase or introduce your topic in a more artistic or creative manner. And now, murmuring in Filipino. Ang daming ganyan. Ano nakalimutan ko? Ano na nga, ma'am? Okay, take note. When you're undergoing the coaching session, one-on-one coaching session with me or Sir Kevin, you have to treat it as a real interview. I know it's called a mock interview, but you don't come and treat it like a practice. You treat it like an actual interview. Why? Because we don't want you to get used to that. Because once you get used to speaking Filipino with us, kasi nakakaintindi naman kami, that's what you will apply on your actual test. That's why, during the interview, walang magsasabi, wait lang ma'am, ano nga yun ma'am? Ano nga po English nun ma'am? Don't call me ma'am, don't call him sir. You're just talking to the interviewer. Hindi yun job interview, hindi rin yun school interview. Okay? No need for ma'am, sir. It's just like you're talking to a random stranger, right? First name, but I don't think you will get the name of the examiner. Okay? Hi, what's your name? I'll add you on Facebook. Walang ganun. Okay. Um, definitely just use, just talk to the person casually, but with the right amount of politeness and the right amount of professionalism. Okay? So try to avoid Filipino words and terminologies. However, many of you might ask, what if I can't translate my favorite ulam, my favorite dish in English? What am I gonna do? Okay, sometimes you can't avoid it. The words will slip out of your mouth like water. But let's say your favorite food is adobo. Okay, you can insert a little bit of white lies and just go on with something more simple, such as no. Sir Kevin! Okay. Actually, yun yung example ni Sir Kevin for the past 8 years. Ano na? Baguhin mo naman. Okay. Yeah. Well, you can simply say my favorite food is ice cream. But how many examiners have heard the same answer again and again? What about, say, my favorite food is stir-fried beef and broccoli. It's tasty and healthy at the same time. Pero paano kapag nasabi kong my favorite food is sinigang? Oh, napasinigang ka tuloy. Well, okay. I'm sorry. Sinigang is a Filipino term. Lulusot eh, no? Well, let me tell you what sinigang is. It's actually a very famous Filipino dish. It's pork stew with tamarind broth, so it's quite sour and salty at the same time. What I like most about it is that it's incorporated with a lot of vegetables, which makes it healthy. Ayan na, vegetables. Ladyfingers, radish, taro, tomatoes. Yung okra po ay ladyfingers. And then sometimes you can also add some eggplant and leafy vegetables such as spinach. Huwag niyo sasabihin kangkong kasi spinach yon. Napaka-social spinach, no? Pero kangkong lang pala. Nakukuha mo lang pala sa, ano, sa kapitbahay yung kangkong. Anyways, spinach, and it is best eaten during rainy season in the Philippines because it complements the cold breeze. Yun, mga ganun lang. O sige, nasabi mo ng sinigang. Hindi yun end of the world. Okay? Think of it as a positive avenue for you to keep expressing yourself in English by describing the dish. Okay? What if you said adobo? Pero naman, kaka-discuss ko lang sa lecture, wag mag-Tagalog during the interview. E tas after ng coaching session, what's your favorite food? Ginataang munggo. Just go hear me explain. So what do you do in that situation? First of all, munggo in English is bean sprouts. So there is a Filipino delicacy called ginataang munggo, and that is bean sprouts with coconut milk and other sweeteners. It's actually very tasty, and it's a popular snack among Filipinos. And it's also heavy. That's why once you eat it, you have to make sure that you eat it a few hours before your proper meal. Okay, so that you don't lose appetite during dinner or lunch. Ang ganon, okay? Okay lang naman if nagkamali ka. But then, if you can avoid it, just simply say, my favorite food is a hamburger. My favorite food is chicken, roasted chicken. Hindi mo na kailangan i-explain yun. But, should you just answer in one sentence? No. Try to expound, try to extend. My favorite dish is roasted chicken. I like the process of making roasted chicken because you incorporate it with a lot of herbs and flavors so that the flavor of the chicken will really come out. And I like adding some potatoes so that I can avoid eating too much rice since potatoes are carbs and it's heavier in the stomach. Yun. I make roasted chicken twice in a month because my whole family loves it and I love it too. Ganun lang. Describe mo yung roasted chicken. Kung alam mo paano lutuin yung roasted chicken, sabihin mo. Or if you don't know how to cook roasted chicken, just simply say, my favorite dish is roasted chicken. And it's very accessible because in the Philippines, there are many roasted chicken stores, shops. And you can easily buy it for only $5. $5, $2.50. Pero feeling ko $6 na ngayon. $6, okay? Kasi yung chooks to go, $3.25 yon. Alam na, alam. No, no. It's because I have a business and I get to memorize all the prices. So pag chooks to go, $3.25. Pag Andox, $3.20 lang. So it's just less 5 pesos. And then sa 5-star naman, it's a new chicken store. Shop pala, chicken shop. And they also serve, they also have roasted chicken. Pero it's only 280 pesos. But the thing is, the size is smaller. And then we also have in our hometown, Gapan City, if you've been there, there's Kaloy's, Kambal's Ihaw Ihaw, or Linden's Ihaw Ihaw. So since they are local vendors, they tend to have lower prices. Okay? So, mga 260. Pinakamababa na yata yung 280. Kasi apparently, they can sell it lesser than that since I've heard from the vendors that chicken is expensive nowadays. Daming na pag-usapan, chicken lang. But anyways, yeah. Let's move on. It's a safer answer because then you don't have to explain the detail that much. Common mistakes with grammar. Okay. Gender grammar. If you're not sure if the person you're talking about is a woman or man, dati kasi, despite the gender, people would use him or his. Kasi we're favoring masculinity. We used to favor masculinity in the past. Okay? But now we're living in a gender bias community. That's why we don't say him or his but we refer to an unnamed hindi particular kung ano yung gender. That's why you just use him or her. You can use them. Okay? Him, her, them. Kung plural. Okay? Him or her. Okay? Just to be safe. Alright. Common cause, unfinished incomplete sentences. Okay. Ang daming ganito. Hanging sentences. When I'm expecting you to complete your sentences and the idea, but then you easily just cut it off unfinished. So you don't do that in the IELTS. Make sure that you always complete your sentences, always finish your thoughts. Okay? Marami kasing ganito, like, tatanungin, what is your favorite music genre? My favorite music genre is pop. And I like it because it's very enticing to the ears. Hihinto. Andun yung energy pataas eh. Di ba? So, kaya ganun yung tone mo, it's because you're expected to say more. Okay? My favorite genre of music is pop music because it's enticing to the ears. I love upbeat music, and there are a lot of pop musicians that I idolize. Doon ka pa lang mag-full stop. Once you nilatag mo na yung mga gusto mong sabihin. Hindi ka mag-full stop nung pataas yung sagot mo and then full stop, okay? What you do is change the tone. My favorite genre of music is pop because it's enticing to the ears. O di ba? Kung yun lang naman talaga sasabihin mo, stop ka na doon. Hindi yung para paasahin mo pa yung examiner na may sasabihin ka pa. Ang daming gumagawa niyan sa mga students. And I understand, baka nag-hesitate ka kasi bigla, kaya hindi mo na tinuloy yung sasabihin mo. But you always have to finish strong. Okay? Always make complete sentences. Subject-verb agreement. Your subject must always agree with the verb. There's a different rule when it comes to subjects and verbs. Pag nouns, when you put an S, it becomes plural. When you remove the S, it becomes singular. Boy, boys. Not chicken. Kasi ano yan eh. Chair, chairs. But when it comes to verbs, it's the other way around. If a verb has an S, it's singular form. If a verb doesn't have an S, it's plural form. William, we have one subject, singular subject, William. William is a sports enthusiast. He liked play basketball. He likes to play basketball. That's right. Sabi ko nga, singular subject, singular verb. And a verb is singular when it has an S. Okay? But the rule changes depending on the pronoun that you use. For example, you use the pronoun I. I loves ice cream? No, I love ice cream. But if you say, the boy loves ice cream, he loves ice cream, she loves ice cream. Now, what if they? They love ice cream, okay? The boys love ice cream. The boys love ice cream. Kasi boys subject is plural. So, the boys love ice cream. Inappropriate personal pronouns. My father is a businessman and she knows how to make money. Dapat he knows, right? Are you gonna go back to that and correct it? My father is a businessman and she knows how to make money. Oh, sorry, he knows how to make money. There's no need to do that. Continue by saying he is a very responsible breadwinner. He makes sure that everything is provided for the family. O di ba, hindi nahalata yung kanina mong pagkakit because you didn't highlight it anymore. Nouns and pronouns contradict in number. I think students should not be forced to do unpaid work for the community because he. Bakit he ang ginamit? Students doesn't have any gender. And it's in plural form. So, what is the right answer? They should be enjoying their lives. Okay, you have to pay attention to the other components of the sentence. They should be enjoying their lives. Okay? Positions. I enjoyed studying statistics back on my college days. Back in my college days. When there is no specific date, you don't use on. You only use on when you're pertaining to a specific date. When is your birthday? My birthday is on May 19th. Uy, alam niyo na yung birthday ko. Okay. When are the classes starting? The classes start in August 15th. On August 15th. Now, I'm not sure what specific date classes are starting. When are classes starting? The classes start in August. But I'm sorry, I don't know what particular date. Okay? When did you last visit your father? I think it was somewhere in 2019. So, hindi ko alam kung anong month or date yon, but it was in that year. Okay? When did you last visit your father? I last visited my father in February. No, I last visited my father on February or last February 2022. February 16, 2022. Grammatical error solution. Complete a sentence in your head before delivering it. So you always have to think in English. Think in English so that you can speak in English. Okay. How can you complete the sentence in your head before delivering it? All questions have keywords. There are keywords, content words. You have to pay attention to the content words so that you can grasp the idea and you can already construct an answer in your head. For example, sometimes there are prompts such as, let's talk about your, let's talk about your family. So, yan. Pumapasok na sa isip mo kung ano yung pwede mong sabihin about family, right? So then you start constructing sentences in your head. Nouns and pronoun. Okay, bumalik tayo. This is, I think, the last, but I still need to discuss it because it's necessary. Common mistakes with pronunciation. Okay, there is a specific pronunciation lecture that you can attend depending on the availability and depending on the schedule that Sir Kevin is going to plot. But it's very fun and helpful to attend the pronunciation lectures. Nakapag-pronunciation lecture ka, Luisa, right? Yun yung tinuturo ko yung PH, yung long E vowel sounds. It's really fun. And it's also very productive because I know that a lot of you have inconsistencies when it comes to pronunciation. Okay? Unless some of you were really brought up in an environment such as baka yung iba sa inyo na-expose sa ganitong mga tao na native speakers or yung baka iba sa inyo nakapunta na ng ibang bansa and it's an English-speaking country. Yeah, what is it, Jomar? Would you like to say something? Oh, okay. So, there's a difference between rich and reach. Gaya ng example na sinabi ko kanina. Bitch and beach, okay? Sap and zap. What's funny about English language is that they are spelled in a certain way, but they're pronounced in a different way. For example, the word season. How many seasons are there in your country? Hindi siya seasons, it's seasons. And I think your name is pronounced as Susan in America. Pero sa Pilipinas, uy, Susan, bili ka nga ng suka doon. Ganyan lang. Susan. So I remember when I was quite young, I was a little bit obsessed with Greek mythology. So I would always say, once I have a daughter in the future, I want to name her Callisto. And I said, hey, my friend's name is Sunshine. Her name is Sunshine. And then I said, hey, Sunshine, what do you think about this name, Callisto? It sounds so demure. It sounds so elegant. But then, sabi niya, hindi po, pag kasi dito sa Pilipinas, tatawagin lang siyang, Hoy, Kalisto! Di ba? So she said, you have to put those things into consideration. And I was like, okay, fine. Oo nga, pag maarte, sasabihin lang, Hi, Callisto! How are you? Pero pag mga Pinoy lang, baka patawagin lang siyang Liz or whatever. Kasi mahilig mag-makeup ang Filipinos ng kung ano-anong nicknames. So yeah. Pale and fail. P and F. Ban and van. Okay. One of the common mistakes of test takers is talking too fast. If you think that you can impress the examiner by the speed of your pacing or your speaking speed, it's not that impressive, especially if you keep stuttering and if you keep making mistakes with enunciations. Okay, when you're talking too fast, I know because you're excited and you're nervous and you just want to get done with the test. But we're teaching you here that you have to take your time. Apply proper pauses and proper stops. Okay? Your pacing is very important. It's important because when you are taking your time to speak, you're allowing your brain to think better answers. You're allowing yourself to relax. Isipin niyo mabuti, pag relax ka, mas nakakapag-isip ka ng good thoughts and better decisions. But when you're in a panic mode, you just do whatever. And then you end up regretting, right? So it's very important that you have apply proper pausing and pacing. It's better to speak a little slower. Di naman sobrang slow, okay? You have to find your balance between too fast and too slow. So it should be in the middle. It will benefit you to think better, to have a calmer demeanor, and definitely it helps you produce effective answers. Okay? So, what's the solution? Take deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. So recently, I think that was last Sunday, I was out with a friend. We were having coffee in a coffee shop and dati kasi hindi ko alam yung importance ng deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Apparently, my friend had an anxiety attack. So her heart rate was over the normal. So, mabilis yung tinukang puso niya because when I asked her, hey, what's wrong with you? May papalpitate na yung tao, hey, what's wrong with you? Hindi naman. Sa Tagalog kasi ano yon? Uy, ano nangyayari sa'yo? Okay? So, sabi ko, hey, what's wrong with you? Sabi niya, I feel like I'm drowning and I have difficulty breathing. So, ako kasi when I'm not exposed to the medical field that much, so I tend to panic when that happens. But I tried my best to keep cool and calm. So I said, okay, what do you think we should do? Should I bring you to the hospital? But then I thought of what's the fastest way that I can calm her down because I'm so nervous. Malayo kasi yung hospital na pinagtatrabahuhan ng husband ko. So I think it's gonna take us, with the traffic, it might take us 30 minutes or 20 minutes. So I didn't take the risk anymore. So when we stepped out of the coffee shop, I said to the guard, do you have a medic here? Nasa mall kasi kami. And the guard said, yes. Please contact the medic and ask them to bring a wheelchair immediately. So then, when we fast forward, nakapunta na kami sa clinic, So the nurse said, inhale, exhale. Try to relax yourself. Because apparently an anxiety attack is all the brain, right? It's because of too much anxiousness or too much, it's overthinking, and naghalo-halo na rin, lack of sleep, caffeine intake, was not able to eat properly, so it caused the anxiety attack. All those things caused the anxiety attack. So I told her, the nurse kept telling her, hey, just inhale, exhale, relax yourself. Because nanginginig na yung buong katawan niya, and I didn't know what to do. And then when I saw her inhaling and exhaling, unti-unting nare-relax talaga yung katawan niya. And I was like, okay, oxygenation is really, really important. Because oxygen flows in our veins to our mind, to our brains. So when we don't have enough oxygen, we can't think properly. That's why take deep breaths. Use hand gestures. Masyado ka kasing natitense. And you need part of your body to execute the tension. And the only way for you to execute the tension is by using hand gestures. Because apparently, di mo naman pwedeng suntukin yung pader kapag kabang-kaba ka na dun sa loob ng testing center, right? So the only thing that you can do is your body projection. And you know what? Using hand gestures is an indication of a person's capability of handling extreme situations and showing it's also a sign of intelligence. Okay? So, I'm not saying kapag hindi ka nag-hand gestures, hindi ka matalino, but I think it's a body language as well, right? Body language. So, yun. Don't talk too fast. Relax yourself. Use your hand gestures para merong release yung tension, okay? Okay, slurring or audibility. Mouth is not opened wide enough. Uncertain with response or answer. So the reason why we have slurring speech, yung slurring speech, yun yung hindi mo mabigkas ng tama yung words. It's more of like, sa mga nasa medical field dito, may mga nurse ba dito? Wala. Ayun, si Hannah. So, what I'm saying right now, tama naman lahat ng sinabi ko. Bigla akong bigla akong kinabahan. So, anyway, there's a situation where some patients have slurring speech. And that has something to do with their oxygen in the brain, right? Yung mga namamalig stroke, oo. So, indication ba yon pag nag-slur yung speech ng tao? One indication, kasi nung nasa ICU kami nung July, may kasabay na patient yung mom ko sa ICU. And I talked to the daughter and she said that one of the signs that her dad had mild stroke is slurring speech. Sinabi ko, mild stroke kasi sa'yo. But what I'm saying is, yun na nga, isa sa reasons kung why yung oxygen sa katawan is important is because you can't speak properly without right amount of oxygen. And the slurring, parang hindi niya na-open ng maayos yung mouth niya. Kasi, yung mga nang-stroke, ano nangyayari sa kanila? Stiff. Okay. Yes. Okay, so, dahil hindi magalaw yung mouth, hindi ma-pronounce ng maayos yung words. So that causes slurring sa speech nyo. But, during the examination, you have slurring speech because your mouth is not open properly. Nanghihiyap ko kasi ako. Mga ganun. Okay? So, pag hindi ko mo masyado yung bibig mo, hindi mo talaga ma-enunciate ng maayos. Why? Because you're so shy. Okay? And you have to practice it. May mga tao talagang hindi maayos yung pag-pronounce kasi nga, the mouth is not open properly. Remember, when I was teaching you the TH sound, I told you that your tongue must be in between your upper and lower teeth. The, the. So everything has right positioning. If you don't position your mouth, your tongue, your teeth in a certain way, there's higher chance for you to mispronounce words, and the audibility of your voice and your speaking, your speech will be affected. Okay? And now another reason why the person is slurring is because they are uncertain with their answers. And kung mapapansin nyo, yung mga taong nagsisinungaling, uncertain sila sa tanong, sa sagot. Uncertain sa sagot. So, there's a tendency na nabubulol bigla. Yung nag-e-explain, tapos biglang nauuputal. Kasi nga, they're lying. Napunta na tayo sa sinungaling. So, anyways, what I'm trying to say is, uncertainty can actually lead to slurring or audibility. Okay? Open your mouth wider while talking, but don't overdo it. Oh, ayan. Don't overdo it down. So, huwag naman yung sobrang OA, ah. Yung sakto lang naman. Yung saktong open lang ng mouth. And then, practice answering questions. Okay. The reason why you're uncertain of how to answer a certain question is because you were not exposed to it yet. That's why we're encouraging you attend at least 10 coaching sessions so that you can be familiar with the setup and the flow of the interview. Flat intonation. Madalas maririnig niyo, ang monotonous mo, medyo boring pakinggan. I will end in 5 minutes so that you can have your lunch. But I feel like I don't want to end. Ang saya kaya. Okay, anyway. So, flat intonation. Maraming taong nakasanayan na ganito yung flat lang yung intonation nila. For example, what is your favorite? Ibahin ko naman wag namang hobby. For example, what do you do in your leisure time? Free time. Okay. I like going to the beach, and then I like swimming. I also like to drink in the beach. Iisa lang yung tono, pataas lang ng pataas, di ba? But in English, you don't do that. There's a certain way for you to apply proper tone intonation. If it's a question, rising intonation. Joke lang. Falling intonation pala yun. Okay. Falling intonation pag asking a question. What is, mataas siya, tapos pababa. What is your favorite food? Okay, what is your favorite food? And then, when you're explaining something emotionally, like when you're angry, you have high intonation. Right? When you're excited, your tone also changes. Let's say the topic is, what is one life-changing event that happened in your life? Eh medyo sad yung kwento mo. For example, isa sa mga student, one of the most life-changing things that happened in one of the most life-changing situations that I had in my life was when I lost my grandmother. O di ba? Hindi yung, it was when I lost my grandmother. Hindi ganon. So you have to apply proper tone because tone is really, really important. You get my point? Ano ba yan? Let's stop this. Okay. So, gets ko naman na if ever man meron kayong accent, like baka Ilocano, baka Pampangueño, or Visayas, ayun, meron silang certain accent and tone na very distinctive. But if you can practice and try to improve it, wala namang hindi nakukuha sa practice. I believe that if you really invest time and attention to the details that you want to improve, you can eventually achieve your goals. Okay? Yan nga, mispronunciation, regional accent. May nalala naman ako. So, ayan, kapag nga mga waray, ganun nga sila magsalita, right? Ano ba? So, paano natin i-correct to ngayon? The funny thing is, even though they have a distinctive tone and pronunciation when it comes to Filipino words, we all have a universal way of speaking when we speak in English. Naiiba yung accent pag English na. Kaya yon. Pero sa lahat naman na nandito, taga-Kabanatuan naman po kayong lahat. Or nearby places. So probably we all have a neutral accent. Or neutral yung pag-pronounce nyo ng English words. Kasi Tagalog lang naman po lahat dito. Ay, sayang.
We've been talking about a well-known person by
Panonoodin nyo ba or hindi? Yung iba kasi napanood na to eh. Pero konti lang, mapanood natin sa mga bago kung paano po magsalita itong Chinese. I think he's Chinese. Yeah, that's right. However, wala na po kasi tayong time eh. Do you really want to have your lunch? Okay, so probably we'll play the video next time, okay? Okay, let's play the video next time. I'm sorry because hindi natin natansya masyado yung oras. But let's talk about the announcements for tomorrow's class. Okay. Sino po dito makakapagpa-coaching tomorrow?